All right, hi folks. Happy Thursday or Friday, whenever you're viewing this. I'm just gonna give me a quick video, going over page 5 of the inverse trig notes. So you should be through pages 1 through 4, hopefully. That's what you did Wednesday. So I'll just go through page 5, talk a little techniques here. And these are all kind of quick problems. We'll go through the process on all 4 of these, and then I'll give you answers only for all of page 6. So that'll sort of be your like comprehension check. If you can do page 6 without me guiding you through it and you get the right answers, then I think we're in a good spot. Okay. So before I get started, there's just like 2 things to sort of keep in mind when we're doing compositions like this. Remember, compositions are where we have one function that we evaluate first, and then that output is then used to evaluate another function sort of outside of that. So, for example, we would evaluate sine of 2 pi over 3, and then we use that output to evaluate inverse sine. All right. So the first thing to remember in these compositions is just the order of operations, just PEMDAS, just follow the order of operations, really work from the inside out, and typically things will go perfectly fine, right? And then the second thing to remember is to check the range. And I mean that in 2 ways, right? The first way being if we jump all the way back up here to page 2, right? Being that you may have a range of negative pi over 2 to 2 pi. So like make sure that your outputs are in the correct range in that regard, that you're saying, negative pi over 4 instead of 7 pi over 4 or something like that. But also when I say check the range, like what is the actual like last function that you'd be evaluating, right? So for example, here you can see that we'd be evaluating inverse sine, which means that you would want to report out an angle measure as your output, right? The range would be a collection of angle measures, versus when we look at this last function being tangent, right? Your range is going to be a bunch of tangent values. So maybe we'll see a 1 or a root 3 or a root 3 over 3. Down here where we see cosine, the range might be a bunch of unit circle coordinates such as root 2 over 2 or root 3 over 2. Just keep an eye on, not only for the inverse trig, what interval of angles do you want to be in, but whether you even want an angle at all. Maybe you don't. All right. But let's go ahead and do some of these. So we're just going to take these one at a time here. So I'm going to do sine of 2 pi over 3 first. And so if I locate 2 pi over 3, the sine value would be root 3 over 2. So I want the inverse sine of root 3 over 2. And this is where, you really want to follow just step-by-step order of operations, because the answer here isn't 2 pi over 3. The answer here is going to be pi over 3. Because we're trying to fall in that interval of negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. So you may consider this a trick question if you just don't know what the rules of inverse trig are, but this inverse sine and this sine are not going to quote unquote cancel out, to just leave the 2 pi over 3. Oh, what was that? Did y'all see that? There's like balloons. I don't know what I did to get balloons on my Zoom, unless you didn't see anything, in which case I'm very sick in seeing things. I don't know. Yeah, so the inverse sine and the sine are not going to quote unquote cancel out, because the range of inverse sine wouldn't include 2 pi over 3 at all, right? The range of inverse sine goes from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2, and the value in that range for the sine value of root 3 over 2 is pi over 3. All right, so that's what I mean when I say like just follow the order of operations. Just go inside out. Don't try to get cute with it. Just one step at a time. Pi over 3. We take a look here. Next problem. Arc sine of negative 3 pi over 2. So arc sine being in this interval here. I don't know why I did two different colors. I want a sine value of negative root 3 over 2. And so that angle measure would end up being negative pi over 3. And I don't think we need to redraw a new diagram for that, because now we just want the tangent value of that angle. So negative root 3. All right, pretty straightforward stuff. Well, hopefully. I mean, obviously I haven't been at school for like 2 days. So whether it's straightforward or not, I couldn't say at the moment. I hope it's straightforward for you. Let's do another. Inverse tangents of -1. Inverse tangent, we're looking at quadrants 1 and 4. Tangent value of -1 is going to happen at the angle measure of negative pi over 4. So now I'm looking for cosine of negative pi over 4. Right? So just inside out, taking it one step at a time. Cosine value of negative pi over 4 would be root 2 over 2. Let me take a look here. This is another one. You got to be careful. Not the case that we could just quote unquote cancel the inverse cosine and the cosine out, because this negative 5 pi over 6 would not be in the range for inverse cosine. Inverse cosine is a range of 0 to pi. And so when I look at the cosine value of negative 5 pi over 6, should be about here, I'd be looking for inverse cosine of negative root 3 over 2. But within that range, that would end up being at just 5 pi over 6. So final answer 5 pi over 6. Yeah. So again, it's two things here, right? Follow the order of operations. Make sure you're keeping an eye on the range for what your final answer is supposed to be in. And if you can just go inside out, one step at a time, don't get cute with that. These problems, hopefully you find to be pretty light. I'm gonna go ahead and give you the answers for page 6. So let me just zoom in here really quick. I suppose if you want, you can pause the video and then restart once you have your answers, and then you can just compare. Or if you just want to write the answers down, you can check after you're done doing the problems. You can do that too. 3 pi over 4, negative pi over 2, undefined, and root 3 over 2. All right, those are your answers for page 6. So that is it for this video. So if there's still time left in class, which I would assume that there will be, just do the homework. Do the homework. Just do it, be productive in the time that you left in class. And hopefully I'll see you soon, that I'm not out for more than I need to be. All right. Bye, everyone.